Hey everybody, it's Geek Boy here from Fanboys 918. Now, everybody knows that our group loves genre entertainment. We love sci-fi, we love horror, we love fantasy, but we're also a celebration of all things pop culture. And we celebrate even more when a particular piece of pop culture breaks out that is centered right here in the 918 area code. And this week, we have just that. Our episode this week is pretty special, and it features an exclusive interview conducted by the Wonder Midget with David Miller and Richard Morgan, who are the driving force behind the show Brand New Muscle Car, which airs on the Velocity channel. In this interview, the two of them are going to share their experience of getting their project off the ground, obtaining all the licensing needed to push it forward, and even the ins and outs of making a reality TV show. So kick back, rev up your engines, and enjoy on this episode of The Talking Geek, which starts right now.
Wonder Midget here, and today I'm in Tulsa with Tulsa Made, Tulsa Proud, Brand New Muscle Car with owner David Miller and his head mechanic Richard Morgan. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
I want to thank you for taking time from show taping and from your other projects to visit with us. So you're both Tulsa guys, Tulsa Made, Tulsa Proud yourselves, so to speak.
Way,
Yeah. I went to Hale. He went to
Rogers. Yeah.
See.
Well, that's
And those were enemies back in the day.
well. I was going to say
Definitely.
you've got a Hale Ranger with a Rogers Roper,
Yep.
and all I can say is Gary Busey would be proud.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
we need to build that guy a car.
Right.
Gary, I hope you're listening. They want to
That's
build
right,
you a
Gary,
car.
we need to build you a car.
So, David, Tulsa Made, Tulsa Proud, Brand New Muscle Car was your brainchild.
Right.
And brilliant as the idea is, you met a bit of resistance when you first suggested it to your buddies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, what happened was we were already had a restoration shop. We were already restoring cars. We had a collision shop. And then when they made the new bodies, and those came out, it was on the cover of Hot Rod magazine. And so I read the magazine because I take it. So I read it at home one night, and I couldn't sleep. I was so excited because I thought we could build whole cars. We can build these, 69 Camaro, 67 Mustang, whatever it is, from scratch. And I knew there'd be a market for that, or I thought there'd be a market for that. And so I went in the next morning at like 6 a.m. I was all excited. I went online and registered the website, brandnewmusclecar.com, which was the first one. I signed up as a dealer for the bodies. And then I went and told my employees, who I thought would for sure get it, because they're in the restoration business. And I said, hey guys, we're going to build whole cars from scratch. And everybody went, why? And it was just crickets. And I mean, no one got it. The customers didn't get it. The employees didn't get it. It took a year to sell the first car. I had to cajole an existing restoration customer into ordering the first car to try it out. And here we are 15 years later, and now it's cool.
So it took 15 years to realize your vision.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty close.
So once the vision was realized, what brought the opportunity about the television show?
They found us online. Masters Entertainment is the production company. Velocity Channel, they do a lot of work with Velocity. They do a lot of racing. So they're big NHRA guys.
So they came to you.
Yeah, they found us online, and they called me. And, of course, when you first get that call, and I've done a couple of weird TV things that, so I'm a little less skeptical now. But when you first get the call, you think, okay, what, is this real? Is it not? Do they want me to pay for it? Because there's a lot of that out there. And the guy's name's Charles, and he said, hey, I found your website. I think what you're doing is really cool. We make a lot of programming for Velocity. It's mostly racing-related stuff, but we'd like to do a build show, and you guys build cars. Would you want to do a show? Sure, Charles, okay. And so, but yeah, that's how it started. It was about 4 years ago. So it's been a long journey to actually get it set up, find the customer.
Most projects take about 2 to 5 years to get.
It's longer than I thought. But
Yes.
Yeah. Charles was like, this will be easy. And it was 4 years.
Well, so far, 3 episodes have aired, and you're currently taping the season finale for Velocity Channel.
Yep.
The reveal is only a day away.
Right?
And you took that beautiful car out today with the owner.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're watching you build on the show is a brand new 1969 Yenko Camaro. In episode 2, you described the modern rear end, and I think that best defined what your shop is doing for the muscle car enthusiast. Can you recount that for us?
Yeah, basically what happened was I went to Yinko because we talked to the Masters guys. Like, what do you want to build? Oh, let's build a Camaro. Okay, and I'm a Camaro nut. I've had 5. My parents had a Camaro. I love Camaros. And so we started talking about RS, SS, Copo, Yinko. Oh, let's do a Yinko. Because Yinko was kind of the ultimate rare, max Camaro. So I went to the Yinko folks, and they had never done anything like this before, which also made it cool, made me want to do it. And they were skeptical, same thing, but obviously talked them into it, into licensing us and let us build the first Yinko, which Velocity loved and the Masters guys loved. But one of the arguments we had was, okay, do we build a straight old school replica, or do we do a resto mod? Do we do modern suspension, modern brakes, modern wheels and tires, fuel injection, air conditioning, the 5 or 6 things that everybody orders? Because we've been doing this for a while, so I know what people want for the most part, the majority of people. And so I had to say to Yinko, I love Yinkos, I'm a Camaro guy, we go to the same church, but can I please modify it? And so there was a debate, there was a discussion about, well, what do you want to modify? And how much, and how obvious will it be, and how much hate mail will we get? That was a discussion.
Well, now, there was only one other licensed Yenko mechanic, and he retired. Is that correct?
That was way before me. So
that was way before.
Not that I know of, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Not now, so yeah, it was way before me.
So how did you get to be licensed by Yenko? How did you earn that honor?
I got that question a lot at SEMA. Because right after we got licensed, we went to SEMA, with me and when I say we, the Masters guys and I went to SEMA, and we had a whole bunch of face-to-face meetings because we had to find sponsors to pay for the show. The sponsors buy the ad time, that pays for the show. I found a customer, that pays for the car. So that was the 2 pieces of it. And so we had to find 12 sponsors, and we had about 90 days. And it was a pretty decent price tag. Everybody had to buy commercials in all the shows, and that paid. So I tried to find vendors that we already used, so that when I was on camera saying, we love Willwood Brakes, it wasn't a lie. And so we went to Willwood Brakes, we went to Exalta Paint, we went to O'Reilly's, we went to all these companies that we already use and love, and tried to talk them into this. And then there were other ones as well. Some that Masters knew, some that we knew. And so we had about 3 dozen face-to-face meetings in 2 days at SEMA, which SEMA was no fun at all this year. But a lot of those meetings, because these guys are players, they've been around for a long time, they all know Jeff Leonard, the guy at Classic Industries that owns the Yinko name. And he's very well known, sort of like a godfather in the parts business. And I had probably 5 or 6, a pretty good number, say to me, after we pitched them and talked and laughed and all that, they would pull me aside and say, how did you get this deal, the licensing deal? And I say, I called Jeff. And he took your call? You're not like his cousin or something? And I'm like, nope. I literally just dialed the number and asked for Jeff Leonard, and he answered. And then they were like, and he gave you a meeting? I'm like, yeah. And then he gave you a license? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's weird. I mean, I had several people say that. Wow. You're not related to it? No, I'm not. It's like...
Well, he obviously saw the vision if he is willing to grant you guys the only license in the world.
Right. And the first one in 40 years. And the first new Yinkos in 40 years. And obviously they're very protective of it, so... There was something he saw, and it's funny. Jeff and I have obviously since talked, and there was one time where he said, I'm not sure why you kind of caught me on the phone thing, and then I'm not sure why I gave you a meeting, and then I'm not sure why, he said that to me once. He goes, but I just kind of had a feeling and I did it, and he said, but I'm glad I did because I can tell this is legit. Like, you're gonna do it, you're gonna make a show, you're gonna build the car, you're gonna make us proud, and of course now that the show's airing, he sent me some personal notes, emails, and said, hey, it's great, I love it, great job, you're a man of your word, I'm so happy I did it. So that makes me feel really good.
So you're carrying the torch.
Right,
basically.
and I'm really glad, because I'm a bit of a geek about parts and cars and, what makes a Yinko, and what makes a Copo, and, it had this switch or that knob, or, and I do the parts here. So my job is the customers, the money, and the parts. So, and I always say no one else will do the job, the parts job, and that's not why I do it, but that's true. No one else would do it because it's a mess. But because when you build a whole car from scratch, it's a huge spreadsheet of parts, and it's a mess. Tons of receipts and.
Well, and that's where I was going to ask you next. You built this from the ground up.
Right.
And can you describe what this ultimate Yenko, you had mentioned that, what does the Super Camaro have under the hood?
Well, Yenko's big thing was, back in the day, you could get a 427 in the Corvette, but you could not get it in anything else. GM had an internal rule, and they wouldn't do it. And so Yenko was a dealer, and so he started off as he was a racer. He was a dealer, Chevrolet dealer during the day, and a car racer on the weekends. And he got tired of being beat by the Mustang. So he took Corvairs, remember the Chevy's only mid-engine kind of odd car, and he souped it up. And he raced, and he would beat the Mustangs, and he would win. And so he started winning in that, and that got him, that's what built his name, was racing. And then back then, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, that was the big thing, right? NASCAR, whatever. And so he was doing that with Chevrolet, and then when the Camaro came out, he thought, okay, this is a better platform. But it wouldn't do the big motor. And so what he would do as a dealer is he would order a 67 Camaro, and he would order a 427, and he would put it in the Camaro at the dealership, and you would get a 0 mile, and he would put stickers on it and stuff like that. But it's mostly an engine and a sticker job. But you could buy it brand new, finance it, the whole deal, and it would have a warranty and everything. But it would be kind of the ultimate Camaro. And then in 67 and 68, he did those. And then in 69, other dealers got wind of that, and they were bigger than him. He was in Pennsylvania. He had a couple dealerships. His dad was a dealer. He was a dealer. But he wasn't the biggest. And so some of the bigger guys called Chevrolet and said, hey, wait a minute. Because, it carries weight if you sell a bunch of cars. And so that's when the COPO program came around, was because of Yenko. So everybody's heard of COPO. COPO is Central Office Production Order. What you do is put in a special order through a dealer, and they would put a 427 in a 69 Camaro, or a 69 Chevelle, or 69 Nova. Well, that was a result of Yenko doing it on his own for 2 years. And the other dealers said, wait a minute, we want to be able to order 427s. And so Chevrolet had a special program where you could special order a 427, and then all of a sudden COPO was born. So the 69 Yenko is actually one that he would order and then sticker. So in some people's mind, and we've talked to Yenko authors and past Yenko employees, there's some of those guys in the show, and a couple of them have said, you really ought to build a 7 or 8 because those are the ones he really built. A 9 is a COPO with sticker job. But when it comes down to television and what's most popular, the 9 is the most popular. But I do love 7s and 8s, and I'd love to build 7 and 8s, and hopefully somebody will order 67s, 68s. It was funny when we had the meeting with Jeff, and when I went in prepared, and I had mock-up brochures made, and I had the whole conference table covered in our stuff, and I said, this is what we could do.
Had you had the vehicle sold yet at that point?
No, it was just I was all in my head. And so, but I have a color laser printer in my house, so I went nuts for about a week, and I printed all these brochures and stuff. And so when I went in there, I made a Yenko brochure that had all the models. Because Yenko did Corvair, Camaro, Chevelle, Nova, Vega, an 81 Camaro Turbo. There was a Vega wagon. I mean, he did some pretty crazy stuff. I put it all in there as options. And Jeff was flipping through it, and he stopped in the Vega, and he said, you want to build Vegas? And I said, yeah, why not? I'd love that. And he goes, all right. He's just like, he's a California dude,
Exactly.
All right. I kind of got the Matthew, he's, all right. He just thought, okay, maybe that's what it was. Maybe he just thought I was crazy, but.
Well, once you had the ball rolling, how
Right.
long did it take you to find someone to build the car for?
That's a good story. And the lady's here, right? We're filming the episode, and she's here. Well, when I got the whole deal set up, and it was time to find a customer to commission the car, I thought, before I blast this out to the public, I better offer it to the existing customers, because I thought if it was me, I would be mad, because getting 001 is kind of a cool deal if you're the right person. So I thought, okay, if I was that person, I'd be mad if David didn't offer it to me first. So I went ahead, so what I did was I just put together a short list of the existing customers, and I fired it out to them. And the woman that took it, a lot of my customers and I become friends, obviously, so she had my cell phone. And so I emailed it out. 30 seconds later, she texted me and said, I want it.
Wow.
I mean, it was instant. And another guy replied 5 minutes later and said, maybe. And I said, well, too late. It's like, but I think he might do number 2. We're talking about it.
Well, I was going to ask you, so if you get a season 2, is he your next customer?
Well, we're going to sell more Yenkos, but I don't know what the next TV show is. The next TV show will probably be a different car. Could be a Hemi Cuda, could be a Hellcat Prowler. Could
But
be.
you haven't decided what you want to do yet.
We're talking about it. In this same thing, we've done a TV show once before. We did a Mustang, and during that show, Camaro came up, and I said, whoa, let's focus, because the TV guys, hey, what's the next show?
I saw on your website that you had posted a partial body for a 67 Chevelle.
Right.
I was hoping that might be your season 2 car.
Well, that's a restoration.
That's just a restoration?
Yeah, because we have a whole restoration shop where we do classic cars. And they do make a Chevelle body. They make a 70s Chevelle body. So we could do like an SS 454 brand new.
That would be cool.
There are about a dozen bodies. There's the small Nova, like Chevy 2 Nova, which I love. 66 and 67, which is my favorite years. My dad had one of those. They make Bel Airs. They make Broncos. They make old Chevy trucks. So they're just now coming out with Mopar. So actually, what we've talked a lot about is doing a Mopar.
That would be
Charger,
great.
Challenger, Cuda. I don't know if it's old school, new school, Hellcat. I mean, I don't know. I am working with some guys in Europe right now. This is really kind of interesting. This might be, I haven't said this to anybody publicly, but I'm doing some Ginkgos or some Mustangs for some guys in Europe right now, and they're going to be electric. So they're going to look
Really?
exactly like classic American cars, but they're going to be electric. Because Europe is starting to outlaw gas cars.
That's wild.
So the TV guys got wind of that, and we all kind of met at SEMA and had lunch one day because the European guys were there. They're out of London. They're in England. And we threw around the idea of doing an electric muscle car for season 3 just because that's so new and no one's done it. And, I guess it's the future. I mean, who knows? But
I mean,
it's
there's
part of
obviously
the-
a market
It's
for
part
it.
of the future,
Now, the Camaro that's on the show
Yep.
is officially licensed, and you had mentioned that there were only 198 ever built. This
69
one's
Camaros. Yeah.
69
Yep.
Camaros.
Ginkgos,
So
yep.
this one's going to be number 199.
Basically, yeah. We called it 001 because it's not original.
Correct.
And of course, I've already had people say, "Oh, you're building, more cars. You're going to hurt the value of the old cars." And I got to say publicly, that's crazy because Cobra kit cars have been around for decades. There's a zillion of them. A real Cobra is still worth $1 million.
Still worth it.
Not going to change. I mean, a real Yinko is a real Yinko. It's still worth a couple $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
And ours is clearly a new one. Everybody knows it. So it's actually numbered 001 because it's a continuation car. It's not a real one. We know it. We're not trying to offend anybody.
But it's reflected in the VIN, is that correct?
Yeah. It's got a number. It's got a plate on it. It says,
It's official.
Yinko 001, yeah, it's real. But everybody knows it's not a 69. It's,
It's not a 69.
Right.
Right.
It's not worth $300,000. I mean, we know that. And it's not, and you know what? It's funny because, as they say, only Nixon can go to China. So when people come at me with that, they don't know I'm Nixon. I am the car guy of car guys. I get it. I mean, I'm a pope in that church. I got it. But they're oh my God, it's blasphemy. Come on, man. I mean,
It's a beautiful, beautiful
it's
machine.
flattery. You're right. I mean, it's imitation. It's flattery.
Exactly.
We love these cars. That's why we're building them. I have a restoration shop. I've been doing that since the 80s. I mean, I love old cars. I like carburetors. I like blue dot tires. I mean, I'm with you. But I also am not offended by new builds or resto mods or half and halves or I just think it's all fun. A guy came in the other day, brought us an RX-8, right? So a lot of people, not a hot rod. Whatever. Okay. Fast and Furious. I got it. Comes in, no motor. We paint it. He takes it. It's a young guy. So I think it's great that younger people still love cars. Some of them. Takes it, leaves. No engine. Oh, okay. Whatever. We painted it inside and out. Red. He comes back 6 months later. What's in that thing? Just pulled the motor tranny out of a vet, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he had an LS7 in the thing. I didn't know that would fit, and it fit perfectly. Huge wheels and tires, looked amazing. Popped the hood, I was like, wow. Got a bunch of pictures, see you later. I mean, that's cool. I know some people think that's blasphemy, but come on. I mean, it's all good. I mean, it's street rod,
Exactly.
hot rod, muscle car. Come on. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm not Coke and Pepsi about it, right? I'm not Ford, Chevy. It's funny because, we work on everything. And I'll post a picture of a really awesome Ford. And some nut will say, Ford's crap. And then I'll post a really cool Chevy and someone will say, Chevy's crap. Like, come on. I mean,
They're just trolls. That's all
I
it
know,
is.
I know, but I mean, come on. I mean, relax. I mean, I have my favorites, but I still love. I mean, I'm a Chevy guy. Every one of my family's a Chevy guy. Everyone, both sides, mom and dad.
I would not turn down a Corvette station wagon. I've seen those.
But when a Hemi Cuda pulls
Kooky
in,
as
I
hell.
still go, wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I mean,
So tell us a little bit about the machine that you built. It's a
Yep.
yellow and black,
right? Yep.
and
Or black and yellow. Have you heard my Wiz Khalifa story?
that I would. I
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black. Remember the song? It was real big a couple of years.
Yes.
Okay, so my bright idea is, hey, we'll call Wiz Khalifa. He's a huge car guy. When we reveal the car, we'll blast black and yellow, and then we'll play the instrumental part in the credits. It'll be great, right? Rap song, be fun. So I call Warner Brothers. I call his manager, and they go through like 4 people, and I get the Warner Brothers person, right? And I know nothing about TV or music, right? Nothing. I'm a nice guy. I just want to use the song, right?
You love the music.
I like the song, right? It's catchy. It's really catchy, right? I'm a Dallas fan. I know he's a Steeler. Whatever. It's a Steeler song, but whatever. So that's fine. So I call, and they're super nice. They're super cool. And they're like, yeah, no problem. We would love for you to do that. It's $50,000 to play it once. And my response was honest. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I've stumbled into the big time. I said, clearly I have no idea anything about me. I said, really? And he's like, yeah, that's what we get. That's like going rate. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, what's your music budget? And I said, there is no music budget. I was just going to write you a check myself. And he's like, oh, well, we could get it down maybe. And so they talk and they come back like a day. I got him down to 15. But I still couldn't do that. You know? So I just nicely apologized. I was like, okay, we won't use the song. But yeah, the car's black and yellow, or yellow and black.
Okay, and so one of the questions that one of our fans had was, why did you choose the 17-inch tires instead of the classic 15-inch?
It's a really great question. This was the debate, right? This was the debate. Again, with Yinko, can we make the car better? Can we, resto mod, drive it better, safer, right? And so that was the debate. Well, what do you want to change? So I said, well, modern suspension, modern 4-wheel disc brakes, modern wheels and tires, air conditioning, fuel injection. Those are kind of the minimums everybody wants nowadays, right? I mean, everybody. I love carburetors, but I can't sell them to save my life on these builds. Everybody's, nope, fuel injection. They just want to get in and go. I get it. But, so wheels and tires. Well, what do you want to do on wheels and tires? And I said, well, because again, car number 1 had to look like a Yinko. They were worried about hate mail. And so I said, I'm going to get the Atlas wheels. No problem. They're knockoffs of American Racing. American Racing still makes them. I'm an American Racing dealer, and I can get them in any size, any back. What do you mean any size?
Oh, that's great.
And I said, well, I could order them in any size, any back spacing. We can custom order them. Well, they were 15s. And I said, well, yeah, but we like to put 17s on the car at least, with modern wheels and modern tires, and a little wider maybe in the back, because that's what people want. Nobody wants skinny tires anymore, right?
Nobody wants
And from the side, it still looks classic, right? So I talked them into 17s, a little bit bigger wheels and tires, not 18s, although 18s still look great on Camaro, because we've done that. 19s, 20s gets a little out of my personal preference, but whatever. It's their car. But yeah, so we were just trying to get a bigger track on the car, and we were going to go with modern suspension. So modern suspension's made for that anyway. So the suspension guy was 17, So it was just trying to design a car that would drive.
And which was the goal that she wanted. She didn't want just a show car. She wanted a vehicle that she could drive.
The builds are drivers. That's why they want air conditioning, fuel injection, power windows. And we do the power windows where you can't tell, so it's still got handles, but you just push them up and they go.
Oh, that's
it's the
really
hidden
cool.
switch. You don't have to put a button somewhere because that doesn't look right. Especially on the interior, we tried to go all original, so it looked like the old car. And it's got a Tremec 5-speed, but the 5-speed you don't have to modify the tunnel, and the shifter looks real close, and so you put the old school ball on it, and and the old school boot, and so from 20 feet, it looks like a Yinko. We did the aftermarket air conditioning where it's all up under the dash. You don't see any of it. It even uses the old controls. And we did, Camaros, a non-AC car at what you would recognize as a Camaro dash, but then the AC cars had an extra big old vent in the middle. So we did a non-AC dash, but we got the aftermarket air that uses that. So it uses the side vents. So it'll cool the car, but you don't have that extra.
Well, I've seen inside the vehicle, and it's
Looks like a
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful on the inside. So, are you still taking customers?
Absolutely, yeah. It's number one, and we're allowed to sell 21 on this first run. So we've got 20 more to sell. Again, I've got a guy I think wants number 2. So
Cool.
he's talking about red.
Hopefully,
Should be
Busey
great.
will want number 3.
Right, Busey. Yeah, Busey for 3, and then someone else for 4. But yeah.
Okay, so the last thing, can you just tell us? You guys are on Velocity Channel
Yep. Saturday mornings,
Saturday mornings at
8:30 a.m. Central. Car
And-
Guy prime time. The
exactly.
old car guys are up.
Oh, yes, they
Some of
are.
my friends and family are like, what? It's not on at 7 o'clock on Thursday night? I'm like, no. I'm like, hello. It's not
if-
Seinfeld.
So for those fans that can't get up that early in the morning because they've partied too hard Friday night,
Right?
and running that
DVR.
exactly
Or our
DVR.
website, brandnewmusclecar.com or masterstv.com.
That's what I was going to ask you
Yep,
for.
the
Was
shows are up, and the show airs on Saturday, and I usually have it up by Tuesday. So I can't put them up till they air.
right. So Tuesday, they can go to brandnewmusclecar.com/television,
Yep.
and they can view all the episodes
Yep.
from start to
On their phone, on their iPad. Doesn't have to be a TV,
Excellent.
right? That's what a lot of
Right.
people like, is they can just sit there and watch it on their phone.
There's a video from our first car on there too, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Lots of I got a YouTube channel. It's YouTube. Our website is using YouTube.
Right.
So there's a YouTube channel, Brandon Muscar.
Right.
Well, wait. I guess it'd be YouTube/Brandon Muscar.
I've been on that site
Yeah.
also.
So there's other stuff, engine start videos, burnout videos.
So personal
Not
question.
as many as I'd like, but I'm so
We're working on
busy.
it. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So personal question. Being a Hale Ranger,
Yep.
what made you give in to this Rogers Roper here and take him on as your head mechanic?
I don't have a problem with it.
Because
I
you
lived
guys
by
are
Central.
Tulsa
I went to
boys.
Hale. My mom went to Rogers. You know, the reason Hale and Rogers hate each other is because Rogers was created first, and then when they created Hale, they took the people from Rogers. Mm-hmm. It's how they created Hale, and that's how that rivalry started. They were friends, and they took that was before me. I was there in the '80s, but not
Right.
that much before me. I was there during the 25th anniversary, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that new. I mean, I've seen pictures of 21st and Sheridan where Hale is, in the 60s, and it's a cow pasture.
Yeah.
So
Well-
it's not real, or maybe late 50s, but it was a cow pasture.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Richard and I went to the 75th high school reunion recently.
Roger's been around a while.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that Richard was that old.
Yeah.
75, yeah.
Yeah, class of
I look
42
a lot
there.
Older than my mom, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom just had her 50.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well,
I said
we're getting ready to
30.
have our 30th here in
Yeah.
a couple of months.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for giving us the time,
Yep.
and really appreciate it. And can't wait to see tomorrow when we go out to the track.
Oh,
and
my.
It'll
Be crazy.
Yeah, it'll be crazy for sure.
Today's been crazy.
Yeah.